Hey, everyone out there. This is another episode of Open Book. I am Billy Price. I am co-founder of Billy Footwear. And boy, today I am so excited. First off, I love Open Book. But secondly, Misti Staley. She is one of my favorite people from Open Book's past. She and I had a conversation, and I got to look at this other screen. It is September 30th of 2020. And here we are, over 3 years later, having another conversation. So Misti, I am so jazzed. Thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Well, thanks for having me back. I'm excited to talk with you too.
So for everyone out there, so Misti, she and her husband started Freearm. It's freearm.org or freearm.com. It'll go a little bit more into like what exactly that is. There's also there's Freeman Playground, and just I don't know. It's all revolves around their son, Freeman. So, Misti, I know the story of Freeman it's an amazing story. I know there's an emotional one as well. And Freeman has added so much value to this world. Can you tell us about Freeman?
I'd love to. So my son Freeman was born in 2015, and I had a healthy pregnancy. We didn't know he was going to have any medical complications. And then after he was born in Helena, Arkansas, which is on the Mississippi River side of the state, we saw that he had a small cleft palate in the roof of his mouth, and he wasn't breathing as strongly as we wanted him to. So he was life flighted to Arkansas Children's, which is in the middle of the state, 2 hours from our house. And then it was from there in the NICU where we really started to learn about all of Freeman's medical differences. So he had coloboma in one eye, so he was blind in that eye, had 2 holes in his heart, had a horseshoe-shaped kidney, an extra rib, just all of these midline differences that never showed up on any sonograms. So all this was sort of dumped on me right when we got to the NICU. And I was like, I can't take all this right now. Just like give it to me in bite-sized pieces. But we ended up in the NICU with Freeman going on ECMO, which is a machine that takes blood out of your body through a tube, a cannula in your neck. It takes the blood out. It goes through a big machine to oxygenate the blood, and then through another cannula, it puts it back into your body. So your heart and lungs can really take a break and heal. So he was on ECMO for, I believe, 5 days. And once he was off of ECMO, had to, had to be intubated and then move up to room oxygen and things like that. But the next time I got to hold him after him being born was on Mother's Day, which was really, really special. And then we ended up spending 3.5 months in the NICU. And with Freeman going on ECMO and having that small cleft palate in the roof of his mouth, he ended up with a G-tube, which is a little port surgically placed in his belly. And we were able to feed him through that port, either with a gravity syringe, as you can see behind me, or with a pump and a feed bag at night. And so once we discharged from the NICU, we were home doing that. And I can go in more of the struggles we had and then back into our PICU stay after that. But is there anything that I missed that you remember from our last conversation?
Well, I just remember Freeman in his short time, on this planet. I'm just amazed and blown away of how much value he's added. I mean, his story brought you and I together. His story later brought the Freeman Playground into being. His story brought the Freearm together, which are just helping so many people. And I would love to be able to touch on the playground a little bit, because I know that was a big driver. And then that led to, I think that's where the order went to the playground first. And then it went to the actual Freearm that are just helping so many, because you just had a drive inside you to keep going and adding more.
Yeah. So we were home for 5 weeks between our NICU and PICU stays, but Freeman had pulmonary hypertension. So we ended up going back to the hospital because of that and just seeing, do we need a chest x-ray or something? We ended up being put into the PICU. And there Freeman got a trach, ended up with some holes in his lungs and had chest tubes. It's like we could never really get off of this roller coaster. And then, as you hinted to earlier, sadly, we lost Freeman the day after Valentine's Day, which is coming up, of 2016. And so we had Freeman for 10 months and cheered for him every single day. And we were his biggest advocates there every single day by his side. And so after losing Freeman, it was me looking at my husband, Will, and saying, what do I do tomorrow? Like we basically moved to Little Rock, lived with my in-laws, and just were there beside Freeman, reading to him and soothing him how we could every single day. And so Will had mentioned, what about building a playground in Freeman's memory? And so I really just put all of my time and energy into building Freeman Playground for that full year after losing Freeman. And that was a really healthy way for me to grieve. And so started the Freeman Foundation. And with Freeman Foundation, we were able to raise the funds to build Freeman Playground, which is in Helena, West Helena, Arkansas. We're about an hour south of Memphis. And at the time of opening, it was the only ADA accessible playground that had ramps on the equipment and a poured in place rubber surface, a high back merry-go-round, a high back swing. It really had all of the equipment in one place where every child and every family member could get out there and play. And that was really, really important for me to build a playground like that. And so having one where the other closest one was a whole hour and a half away within the state, it was really life-changing for families in our community and the surrounding region.
So I'm in Seattle, and I use a wheelchair, and it's so incredible to be able to go to a playground where I'm able to play with my kids, to have them go around, to be able to have that inclusive environment. So we've been fortunate because there are a number of like kind of accessible playgrounds around our area, but to be in an area where there was no accessible playground and to bring that into existence with the spirit of Freeman, and I think you don't live very far away from it. So don't you hear the sounds of the playground from your house?
We do. We're only 1 block from the playground. So we can hear the kids laughing and screaming. And then parents will call us sometimes and say, there's teenagers here and they're cussing. And then we'll have to walk down and be like, you guys know the rules. You got to be good examples for the younger kids. So yeah, we're far enough away to hear the good and go down and mentor and try to fix some of the misbehavior too.
Well, I do know as well, and this kind of led to a picture book, but the surrounding fence around the playground, it has a bunch of murals. And wasn't there, I think the way it went was there a bunch of kids that were able to come and help, like actually paint the murals. So it was very much a community effort.
It was. So after opening Freeman Playground, we still need to raise funds to be able to maintain the playground. So we have video cameras at the playground that run off of internet. So we have to have an internet subscription to be able to have those cameras to really allow families to feel safe playing at the playground. And so it's paying someone to blow the leaves off the surface, paying someone to cut the grass, any kind of equipment maintenance. And so through this book, we've been able to keep some maintenance funds in the bank for those occasions. And the book is called Beasts of Helena. And so it is a picture book showcasing all the different animals from the Mississippi Delta region. And it talks about them. Then it asks kids questions of, are you able to, like for the deer, do you eat only vegetables? And talking about, the difference in omnivore and carnivore. And it was a really fun book to write. It was actually one of my, I guess, like life goals as a child. And all of my pieces of paper from school, when it asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always said a children's book illustrator. And so I finally got to create a children's book. And with the help of my husband, whose undergrad is in graphic design, we were able to lay it all out and really showcase the students that helped paint the mural after school. And so just a really fun way to bring awareness about the playground and also help with donations as well.
Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful book. I mean, I have a book, that same book, and I read it to my son, who's now 5, and I look forward to reading it to my daughter now. And I wish I had it with me in front of me here, but it is a
I
beautiful
have
book.
one on my shelf.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I mean, just the pictures inside of it. I mean, it's an educational book. I mean, and then just the illustrations of the animals. Yeah, you did a really, really good job for sure.
Well, thank you.
Well, now after Freeman's Playground, then came the Freearm. And I think that inspiration came from, I want to say it was some sort of garage type contraption that Will put together, right?
It was. So after Freeman Playground opened, I felt that kind of rising up nervousness in me again of, okay, I put all of my time into advocating for Freeman and then put all my time into advocating for this very expensive playground. Had no idea how much playgrounds cost, but they're a lot of money. And so being able to raise the funds for a playground for all families, and to still keep advocating for those families to have a safe, inclusive place to play. And so my background is in art, and I wasn't ready to move back into that full time, and just all the energy and creativity that goes into that. But I asked Will, like, what do I do now? And he said, I really think you should work on the Freearm. And I said, I don't know how to start a medical company. And so it was just everything that we learned and then focusing that with mentors that knew where to push me in the right direction. So that 5 weeks that we were home from the hospital between NICU and PICU, I was holding Freeman, who was 3.5 months at that time, and holding the gravity syringe, which had the tube going to his belly, but I would have to pour milk in, put meds in, hold his passy in because he couldn't keep suction because of the cleft palate, but needed to suck as the milk was going in to relate his tummy filling with the sucking. So it was just trying to balance it all. And in the hospital, it was always rigged. So it was always tied above the top of Freeman's tall canopy crib or taped to my shirt. And then when I was sitting on the couch at home, I didn't have a tall canopy crib to hang it from. And I didn't want to tape it to my shirt and then it fall off. And we end up with milk everywhere. So Will went to the garage and created the first Freearm at that time, which was 2 pieces of wood in an upside down L shape with a hinge at the top. And then I taped this back piece to the back of Freeman's crib. And from this top piece, I took a ribbon and like a little piece of Velcro. It's called a posy from the hospital. Put that around the syringe and I hung the syringe from that top piece. Then I could lay Freeman in the crib, hang the syringe and free my hands. Then I could soothe him. I could read to him. I could hold his passy in. I could easily pour in milk. So it was just so helpful. But once Will said, think about how do you bring that to market? And it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. So I went and talked with a small business program that's in Little Rock, so 2 hours from our house. And from there, they let me know about an accelerator program, a business accelerator program. And through that, we were able to figure out all the different steps of how do you become an FDA registered medical device? How do you receive HCPCS codes for insurance billing? So it's just these different steps of how do you manufacture a product? So being able to go through that program and then bring the Freearm to market was pretty amazing. And the Freearm launched and went to market in November of 2018. So we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary this past Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness, that's so awesome. That is so awesome. And I'm trying to think where to go next with this story here because, my wife's a physical therapist and the types of patients that she works with are more often than not is neuro related. And there can be like tubes and like just the challenges of having to deal with that bag for whatever fluid is required. And it's amazing because since meeting you, I introduced the Freearm to her, and then she shared the news with her coworkers. And now there's patients that come in to see my wife to get like wheelchairs or whatever it may be, and they're utilizing the Freearm. It's already attached to it. So
It's amazing.
it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing how the world like kind of brings us together.
And I'm so thankful for her, and just thankful for so many physical therapists and nurses and child life specialists and case managers who find out about the Freearm and then share the Freearm with other coworkers. And then the same for parents who hear about the Freearm or see the Freearm on our social media, and then they reach out to their DME, their durable medical equipment company. So much like your wife, I believe you said that it was New Motion that was being able to provide the Freearm to families. So New Motion is a DME that provides wheelchairs and mobility aids to families, and then they're able to bill insurance for those pieces of equipment. And so whether your DME supplies mobility aids or supplies your tube feeding equipment or your oxygen supplies, you can reach out to them as a parent and say, I would really benefit from having a Freearm, and let them know about the Freearm. And if they are already providing it, they can check to see if your insurance will cover and then provide, or they can also reach out to us directly. Billy, I think you're going to put my email, but you can reach out directly to Misti, M-I-S-T-I, at freearmcare.com. And we'll be happy to reach out to anyone's DME or HME and let them know about the Freearm, let them know how to order the Freearm, because that really is our goal, is for every family who needs a Freearm to be able to get them one free of charge.
Yeah. Well, so everyone out there, I mean, so Misti's email address is in the show notes, so you can see that. Their website, and actually, Misti, I'll switch over so we can share your screen, so you can actually go to the website as well. Okay. But the website is freearmcare.com, and actually, we're going to go a little bit deeper right now with Misti sharing her screen.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, no problem.
So this is freearmcare.com. And then when we scroll down to the bottom, you can see families using their Freearm. There's Freeman. Here's the Freearm on an airplane. And then when you get to the bottom, you can see the Friends tab here. And when you click on the Friends tab, we have all sorts of friends and businesses that we've connected with over the past 5 years that have amazing products. And you can see at the very top of our friends page, there's Billy Footwear. And so on Billy Footwear, you can go to their website and see all of the different shoes. But then also, if you click this link here, it will take you to the Billy Footwear website. But then you'll see up in the top bar that it will say Billy Footwear / Freeman Playground. And so when you see that, clicking through this link, 15% of your purchase, so the price that you're paying for the shoes, it wouldn't cost the buyer any additional. It's the kindness of Billy Footwear donating 15% of that order to Freeman Playground. And so that goes back to Freeman Playground in Helena. And by clicking this link, it takes you to the Freeman Playground Facebook page. And we're always posting really fun events and school supplies giveaways and things that we're doing at the playground. So if you live anywhere within the region where you're close enough to drive, we would love for you to come play or come to any of our events. And then if you'll email us at info at freearmcare.com, Billy Footwear has been so kind to give us a bunch of different $5 coupons, and we can send one of those out to the person who's emailed, and you'll be able to use that $5 coupon at the affiliate link and save $5 on your purchase.
Oh, very well put, very well described. And it is such an honor for us to collaborate with you, Misti. I mean, it just means so much to us. I mean, what you and Will and your community has been able to do to be able to create that playground, and then from there, continue forward with the Freearm, and now having it just spread all over and just seeing, because it's a very robust arm. And I know you put a lot of testing and worked really hard at it, and it works. And like, just, I don't know, I haven't seen anything else out there that can duplicate it. So, and it all stems back to Freeman, which is absolutely incredible.
It's so special. It just gives his brief life even more meaning. I'll shoot my screen over here just a little. You can also see the Freearm here with the infinity pump and a 1200 ml bag. And so it just not only holds that gravity syringe for families, but also allows families to ditch that IV pole. I know I tripped over Freeman's IV pole at least once a day. I mean, I was getting up to feed him every 3 hours at night, and it was dark. And so it was just like this gigantic IV pole with this tiny little pump, and he had a 500 ml bag. So his bag was like a third the size. But just being able to see families get that IV pole out of the bedroom, clamp the Freearm to the crib, take it with them to travel, set it up in a hotel room for all of those follow-up clinics. It's just so important just to be able to not feel tethered to your house. And so we're so thankful, and we're expanding even more. We have a new Freearm with PEG that we're launching probably a month and a half from now. Our inventory order's on the way. And so this PEG end will fit inside the GE OmniBed incubator within the hospital. And then this PEG end is interchangeable with the clamp end. And so nurses in the hospital can really use the Freearm throughout the tubie. We call people with feeding tubes tubies. And so throughout the tubie stay within the hospital, they can use it in the incubator, then set it up on a chair so that parents can sit and hold their child skin to skin and not have to worry about holding that syringe. And then it can move to an open crib. And then a lot of hospitals like Arkansas Children's, where Freeman was, for instance, they're sending the Freearm home with the family at discharge. So they're not having to sit on the couch and figure out, go to the garage and make me something. Right. They already have something. So it's really special. And I just am so thankful for everything that Freeman taught me through his tube feeding journey.
Well, we thank you tremendously for sharing Freeman's story with us. And boy, I mean, I want to be respectful of your time. I mean, we've shared a lot. Is there anything else before we sign our guests off? Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
I don't think so. Would love for you guys to follow on social media. We love to share pictures that families share with us using their Freearm on the go. It's always really fun to see people going on a camping trip with their Freearm or going to the beach with their Freearm. And that just really makes my day when a family shares a picture with us, and I get to feel like I'm there at the zoo because the Freearm's at the zoo. So,
well, that's a great transition there, because on Facebook, everyone out there on Facebook, the handle is @Freearm. On Instagram, it's @freearm.tube.feeding.assistant. And then again, for the website, it's freearmcare.com. And there's lots of information on there, plus the Friends tab, which then links back to us. And if you make a purchase using that affiliate link, 15% of your purchase will go back to Freeman's Playground, which truly is an honor for us, Misti. It really is.
It's so kind of you. Thank you.
Well, everyone else out there, this was another episode of Open Book. Misti, oh man, Misti, thank you again so much for joining us today. Everyone else out there will have another episode real soon. So until then, I hope you enjoyed this one. Until then, take care.